Hi, this is Patrick from Staffbase. Today I want to show you the highlights of the 3.7 October release of the Staffbase platform. It's only been a little over 2 months since our last release in early August, but we've made sure to bring enough updates to get you through the fall. Most importantly, we'll have an in-depth look into the highly anticipated Analytics dashboard. We will also go through a few improvements around languages, enhanced support for iOS 12 and Android 9, aka Android Pie, and in the end, we'll check out 2 great updates regarding security and compliance. Let's get right to it. Back in August, when we introduced the Analytics API, we also announced a dashboard for admins to come later in 2018. Here we are in October, and I'm thrilled to finally show you our brand new Analytics dashboard. You can easily find it via the menu of your admin interface. As there are so many statistics to track within your employee app, we decided to split the dashboard into 4 tabs: News, Content, Chat, and Users. Each comes with individual statistics, filters, and exports that are optimized for this area of the platform. Let's get started with News. As news are such a vital part of any employee app, it already comes with 4 highly important widgets. The News activity chart on the top tells you how your posts are performing over time. You can hover each metric to highlight its line in the graph, or completely toggle it on or off by clicking the metric. Below the number, you will see its change compared to the previous time frame. Just hover this number to see the change in detail. Hovering the graph itself will show you all the numbers for each individual day. This powerful widget helps you identify peaks and common trends in your news section. Next up is a bar chart that shows you the most popular news channels. Simply toggle the different categories to learn what channels your employees like most in terms of visits, likes, comments, and shares. The donut chart to the right provides a quick glance on how many news posts have seen interactions of your employees, for example, liking and commenting. In this case, we see that out of 40 posts this week, 38 have been interacted with. That's a great number. Lastly, at the bottom of the News Analytics dashboard is a powerful table that contains all posts that had visits or interactions in the current time frame. It lets you compare what individual post performed best in terms of visits, unique visitors, likes, comments, and shares. You also get to see which notifications were used or where the post was published. Use the header row to sort by a column of your choice. Of course, this entire section comes with powerful filters for time frame, where you can either use one of the presets we provided or pick your own start and end date. Next to this, you can filter by space, news channels, registered users or unregistered users from your public area, user groups, and even the platform on which a visit or interaction happened. Exports of the current filter selection are available as well and come in 2 different CSV files for news statistics. As we go through the other tabs, you will see that charts, filters, and exports work exactly the same across all of them. Next up are content analytics. This is where you learn how each individual content of your app performs in terms of visits and unique visitors. For example, it lets you compare your news section with a specific page, a folder, the employee directory, the chat, and much more. This is something that was never possible before with previously existing statistics and exports within Staffbase. An important new concept in this part of the analytics is the type of content. You can easily use it for sorting or filtering to further drill down into results. We already evaluate adding more charts to this tab in the future, but for the time being, the visit and visitor numbers are the most important insight when it comes to your content. The third Analytics tab covers chat statistics. Similar to content, the chat is something where you were not able to get any insights on usage up until now. The brand new Chat Analytics show you how many of your users have been actively using the chat in the selected time frame. Additionally, it lets you compare between group chat and one-to-one chat activity. Hovering the graph or using the export will show you the numbers for each day in detail. Last but not least are analytics for your users and their activity. We think that insights around active usage of the app itself is critical to anything you're doing. This is why the User tab comes with a few more insights than the ones before. On the top, you get to see how many active and engaged users you had throughout the selected time frame. You want those graphs to be as close together as possible by bringing engaging content to all your employees. Observe it over time to identify trends in usage. The funnel below is another format that focuses on the conversion of an invited user that eventually signs up, actively uses the app, and engages with it through interaction. The higher the percentages here, the more people stay in the loop and actively take part in what you do. Lastly, the quick info box on the right instantly shows you what interactions your users perform. In this case, we're seeing mostly likes with about 1/4 of comments. Another important thing I want to highlight is that data privacy has been a critical requirement when developing the analytics feature. We make sure to track and store data in an aggregated way, so nobody can abuse this to inappropriately track the usage of individual employees. The new Staffbase analytics are therefore compliant with the General Data Protection Regulation, also known as GDPR. Please check our blog post and the full release notes for more details on the analytics dashboard. It comes included for customers on the current enterprise plan and is otherwise available as an upgrade. Your Customer Success Manager is more than happy to provide you with more information. In this release, we've also worked on quite a few topics around languages within Staffbase. The trend of previous releases is continuing as we add 5 additional languages for the app interface to support more customers with employees in those regions. This time, our app learns to speak Dutch, European Portuguese, Hungarian, Korean, and Swedish. As many of our multinational customers are using the plugins from the marketplace, the need for having their interfaces translated also got bigger and bigger. With this release, our own plugins are now all caught up in terms of language. For your users, the Staffbase plugins are now feeling much closer to other parts of the app by using a consistent language. We will continue to translate the interfaces of our app and plugins to reach our goal of covering the 25 most popular languages. A complete list of the ones we already have so far can be found in the support portal. Please reach out to us if you have additional needs. Apart from having a translated app interface, you also want to make sure that users understand the content you provide them. Forms is now the first marketplace plugin where you can add your own translations. It works exactly as you're used to from the news and page editor. Simply add another language on the top of the form. Optionally, reuse the existing contents and start creating translations. Just like this label down here. Don't forget to save when you're done. And of course, this also works in the settings, where you can add different languages for the custom submission message. Of course, your users do not have to configure anything within the forms. They simply see the content in the language of their preference. This is a great step for multilingual use cases within your employee app. We plan to add this capability to more plugins in the next releases, so stay tuned. Throughout the last couple of weeks, both Apple and Google have been releasing new major versions of their platforms, namely iOS 12 and Android 9, also known as Android Pie. We have been working with them during the beta phases to make sure your app gets the updates as soon as possible. For the Staffbase iOS app, this means some substantial performance enhancements as we were able to switch to a new rendering engine. This also allowed us to improve the opening and navigation of most plugins on iOS to better match with the core parts of the app, therefore leading to a better UX and less confusion for your employees. One of the requests we heard most often during the last months was supporting photo upload for Apple's new Hike file format. With the October release, this is now possible and helps you to save some storage. On Android, we are seeing 2 major updates with supporting notches and introducing adaptive icons. A notch is essentially a display cutout, usually on the top of the screen. While this has already been available on iOS since the introduction of the iPhone X about a year ago, there are now more and more Android devices with notches as well. Starting this October, Staffbase Android apps support these display cutouts so that your app always looks great on all devices. Adaptive icons are the new format for app icons on your Android home screen and have been introduced with Android 8 about a year ago. The main goal is to make sure your app icon looks great on a variety of shapes across different devices. Here you can see an example of how this applies to the Staffbase app icon. We automatically converted your icons to be used as adaptive icons and carefully reviewed all of them to make sure they still look great as always. Of course, all of these updates for iOS 12 and Android 9 will be directly available as the new apps get rolled out to your users starting today. This release also comes with a few updates for security and compliance. One of the highlights is our most recent achievement in compliance. I'm extremely proud to announce that Staffbase has just been certified as compliant with ISO 27001 a few days ago. The entire company has been involved in this process since the beginning of this year, and although information security has always been a top priority for us, it is very rewarding to see this commitment in the form of a certification now. Of course, this does not mean that we're finished here. Although we're now more equipped than ever, it will remain an ongoing effort to deliver this high level of information security and even raise it further. There will be a separate announcement with more details in the next days. On the security side of things, our new app log feature is a great way to protect confidential information on your employees' phones. Imagine your employees are able to access their pay stubs in the app, which is a great thing. Now that the app is installed on their personal phone, it is potentially easy for someone else to get a hold of it and read the sensitive information. The new app log feature solves this in a very convenient way. After enabling it through your Customer Success Manager, employees will not be able to use the app if they have no device passcode, fingerprint, or face recognition in place. In this case, the app will be locked and won't show any information. Once the employee has enabled any of these very basic security measures, the app will directly unlock. This is available as an optional security feature for the iOS and Android apps as of this release. Get in touch if you're interested. That's been all for today on the highlights of the Staffbase October release. Read the blog post for more details and make sure to check out the full release notes for a list of other improvements and bug fixes. As always, we're looking forward to your feedback on the new version. Thank you for your time.